Hello everyone, this is Achaia Achaia bringing you another shoutcast to the StarCraft 2 beta. This is a 2v2 matchup between myself and 13 against a couple people. The red Zerg player here at the bottom middle is Faust, I think is how you say that. And then the blue Protoss on the right hand side here is Jokebook. So as you can see, a little bit of friendly banter back and forth here, wishing each other good luck, have fun. And I am going to be playing as the purple Zerg this game in the top middle, and on the left hand side here my partner 13 playing as the light blue Protoss, as that is his main race. So that's what he typically plays with. You may have noticed that if you've seen any of my other videos, but he is quite good with them now that he's gotten to figure out a little bit of their build orders and how they operate. You can see throwing down a pylon here at the front entrance and then going to scout a little bit early with his probe. One nice thing about this 2v2 map is you can see my Overlord now already getting into Jokebook's base. The distance by air between my base and Jokebook's base so close, so Overlord's able to get in there and really get a lot of scouting done before I have to even send any other units out to see what's going on in the map. So it's definitely nice to have those bases so close to each other by air, just because that does give me the option to scout really early and get a lot of intel. And then of course, one thing I'm going to just note this, I like to send my second Overlord on Metalopolis here. I like to send it right out to the corner of this little jut out from the platform, because that gives a lot of good range of view, so you can see when any units are coming up along the side here to try to get to your ramp. This is the only ground entrance into your base, so you're able to get a pretty wide range of vision and see when any units are coming towards you. And of course, throwing down a spawning pool already at 12, which is my pretty typical build in a 2v2 matchup here. So sticking with my standard opening for the time being. And going down to the Zerg player, he already does have his spawning pool up and running, so he probably did a spawning pool on 10, would be my guess. I did not see exactly when he put it down, but that seems pretty standard timing for how quick he has it out. And 13 going for a double gateway, that is his favorite opener. Basically pylon gateway is how he goes, and then tries to get out some early zealots so that he can apply some pressure. It looks like Jokebook has gone for the cybernetics core instead, and does already have one gas up and running, so it looks like he's going to go a little bit heavier tech build. And some early Zerglings coming out from Faust right now, going up towards 13's base. He does have the Overlord overhead, so he's going to know that 13 only has one zealot guarding his ramp right now. There are a couple more on the way in, but one zealot not going to be enough to take down all these Zerglings. You can see these Zerglings just chipping away at that zealot. As soon as the zealot takes one down, there's another one to replace it. He does manage to take 3 down before going down, and it looks like these 2 zealots are going to get out in time. The only thing he's going to have to worry about is keeping these Zerglings off of his mineral line. And it looks like these Zerglings aren't going to be able to do a whole lot of damage if 13 correctly controls these zealots, although he does still have that Overlord overhead, so he is going to be aware of exactly what 13's movements are. And a spine crawler going down for Faust at this point, worried about some sort of a counter rush from me possibly, or if 13 continues to produce zealots. Zealots are extremely good against early Zerg, as Zerglings and drones are both pretty weak against zealots, although if you can manage to get roaches out quick enough, those actually do quite a bit of damage against zealots, especially if you can micro them well. Going back to Jokebook's base, he does have 4 zealots at the ramp, so he is now starting to mass up a small little force here, which if he's able to get his ally Faust to pick up a few units here soon, they might be able to do a nice little push on the map. And it looks like my base is probably the most open, although 5 roaches coming out now, so at this point starting to mass up roaches. You can see the roach warren going up here, and also going for the lair at this point as well. So I'm going to be getting some Hydralisks in the mix here possibly in a little bit, or maybe some Mutalisks and Hydras are my 2 favorite units to go after the Roach Zergling opener, so we'll see how that progresses here in a little bit. And Jokebook continuing to crank out some zealots despite the fact that he does already have his cybernetics core, and it looks like he is continuing to throwing down a Twilight Council here, so we may be seeing some early Psystorm from High Templars. And it looks like we are getting ready to move out against the red Zerg player Faust. We have 6 zealots from 13 right now, and I am sending down my army of roaches and a few lings here to aid in the attack, although a lot of spine crawlers at this point going down from Faust, so I'm not sure if we're going to be able to break this down at this point. It looks like we may have a difficult time, although 13 focus firing down one of those spine crawlers before it's able, not quite getting it killed, but doing a lot of damage. And it looks like he will be able to take it out before it's able to kill too many of his units. And I am immediately going to come in here and start focus firing down this other spine crawler that is up and running right now. And it looks like Jokebook bringing in some zealots to help out the second, or I'm sorry, the third rather, spine crawler going down. 13 in the same time here trying to take down this Roachwarren, but the Queen, of course, having a slightly ranged attack, able to reach over that building, those minerals, and Zerglings coming out now too to aid in keeping these zealots off of that Roachwarren. It looks like he actually used that ability, Transfusion. I haven't seen that used by Zerg players a whole lot, and I am frantically trying to micro against these zealots to get a little bit more damage done, and sending some more roaches in here right now, and just too many Zerglings and spine crawlers for me to take care of it. And again, I tried to focus down the Roachwarren, but not quite enough. As I mentioned, though, Transfusion, an ability by the Queen that allows you to give 125 health to any biological unit or building, which, as you can see, he did put it on the Roachwarren, which may have very well saved his Roachwarren from being taken out this early in the game. And he does have 2 spine crawlers up already, although starting to build up quite a large amount of minerals, so he does need to do something quickly to spend that money, lest he fall behind in his production. 13 has now switched over, starting to produce some stalkers here, and I would assume he is going to be researching. Yes, he does already have warp gates, so as you can see, he is turning his gateways into warp gates at this point. I have thrown down another expansion up here at my natural. First person to expand here on the map. Feeling pretty comfortable at this point because we did do a decent amount of damage to Faust, and I'm sure at this point he is a little bit afraid to leave his base since we were able to put so much pressure on him early. Although it does look like he has thrown down a hatchery of his own, as well as Jokebook throwing down a Nexus. So at this point, the only person who does not have an expansion is going to be 13, who I'm sorry, excuse me, who looks like he is going to try to macro up a bit larger of an army at this point, moving out now with a handful of zealots and stalkers, a decent sized army, and it looks like Jokebook is starting to move up towards my base. And as you can see, these overlords put right up against the cliffs here are going to have full vision of these zealots coming, so I am fully aware that I am getting ready to be attacked by blue, which allows me to give 13 fair enough warning so he can get over here to help me out. And it looks like Jokebook has charge up already, so that zealot charge going to be very crucial in getting us around on my roaches. As you can see, one roach getting trapped there because of it, because those zealots surround it so quickly. But trying frantically to micro these roaches against these zealots, as you can see, a lot of these zealots softened up already, and my Hydra Den is out, so trying to do a lot of damage there. And 13 moving up the ramp here. It looks like we will be able to hold off this zealot-only push from Jokebook with the combined fire of these roaches, stalkers, and zealots. And of course, this expansion will remain up and running. And it looks like Faust has managed to mass up a decent-sized army. He's got a lot of roaches here right now.